this does do the old Luke
Of course
special.
it does. Of course it
But
does.
it starts with a chess game, then flashes back to a car accident. So I think they do it the wrong way around, really.
Personally, yes, I was thinking that the car accident isn't traumatic enough.
I suppose in the case of this, I think they wanted to show you star of the piece, which is Anya Taylor-Joy as Beth Harmon. We see her in these opening scenes. She's quite dishevelled. She's not ready to start whatever it is she's doing, and then we find out she's in the chess tournament. We then flash back, as I said, to a car accident which kills her mother. I should say this is set initially in the 1950s and then proceeds into the 1960s. Beth is then taken to an orphanage where befriends a fellow resident there called Jolene, and they're presented almost as the misfit toys who aren't going to get adopted, as opposed to their sort of cuter counterparts. Early on, Beth is intrigued by Mr. Shable, the handyman at the orphanage, who spends his times in the basement playing chess. She gets intrigued by chess. She has visions of this chessboard when she starts taking the tranquilizers that they get the orphans, and he starts teaching her. She's about 9 or 10 and picks it up straight away. The first episode ends with her taking an overdose of these tranquilizers because the orphanage has been banned from giving them to the children. As a punishment for, so this is going into the second episode, I suppose, there's a punishment for taking this overdose. She's banned from playing any chess. Flashes forward then to when she's 15, and she gets adopted by a couple, the Wheatleys. She gradually gets her interest in chess back, and the second episode ends with her being successful in a chess tournament against people who are a lot more experienced than she is, due again to having taken these tranquilizers, which her new adopted mother is also addicted to.
So this I was intrigued by because it was completely off my radar. It's been number one on Netflix as the thing people have been watching, I think, since it landed 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I've seen the old opinion piece and people praising it and things, but I just didn't sound like something that would appeal to me. It's about a young girl in an orphanage who becomes a chess prodigy and travels the world and is obsessed with the game. I don't see what people love about it. I have to be completely honest. I was somewhat engaged, but never really truly on board with it, especially the actual chess scenes. I really struggled with. I just wanted to skip ahead. I have to put my hands up and say this has obviously appealed to a lot of people. I respect all those people that it's appealed to, that I've subsequently read pieces by, but I didn't get on board with this at all, really. I found it an okay period piece, but I didn't enjoy it. I think the point of Anya's character Beth is that she's quite cold, and the first episode doesn't really explain why she's into chess. It's rather convoluted, the fact that she goes down to the basement to bang the erasers and keep them clean, and she stumbles across this Mr. Shive Overley, who is quietly playing chess on his own in the corner of the basement, and becomes into it and wants to learn more about it. But we don't actually learn much about why that is. What we don't know much of her personality to understand her fascination.
Yeah.
Did you get the sense that there's going to be a diagnosis of perhaps autism or something like that?
No, I didn't get that.
That's how the character came across to me. Very blunt, very cold, very straight to the point. Not really interested in the world outside of something she's obsessed with.
For me, it's sort of deep-seated childhood trauma, and in the terms of what Beth goes through, it's quite easy to understand why, and I think that's why they spend time, seeing her parents argue, seeing that her mother has got mental health issues, and I think, she has not had this order in her life. Her mum was very emotional. She clearly had mental health issues. I think she wanted to kill her daughter as well as her. That's what I took from it. It's almost the calm of the chess that appeals to her, finding something that she can find solace in, which in the case of Beth is chess. I quite like the fact that they didn't really explain to you the world of chess, the game of chess, and I liked it. And I'm surprised you didn't like those quieter moments, if I'm honest. I'm a little bit surprised that you didn't like it more. I don't know if again
No,
it's one of those
it
where
was just plod. It was too
yeah,
plodding for me. It was. I think the third episode is 45 minutes, and that moves along at quite a pace. These first two
I
are
didn't
clock.
find it plodding at
Yeah,
all.
I found it really
Right.
plodding,
And
and I
I don't
found it boring in places as well.
disagree with
But that's
that.
okay. You know me, you know my opinion on things. I don't need action every 5 minutes. But I thought it was just a
Mm.
normal period piece drama that you could see on a Sunday night on one of the main channels. There's nothing, if we didn't agree on watching more episodes, I would have stopped after the first. I do like Anya Taylor-Joy, and I think she's a very magnetic performer. And the thing that made me want to watch past that first episode was the fact that I thought when she takes over the role of Beth, I'm going to feel more invested because she's such a magnetic performer, and sadly it just didn't happen. There's a nice dynamic between her and the mother as we reach episode 3,
Mm.
and it's about her accepting her daughter's love of chess and using it to advance the family welfare, and she travels around the country with her competing. But I don't know. There was just there was nothing in it where I'd go,
So
yes,
yeah.
this is interesting or exciting.
Mm.
I just found it quite bland.
Yeah.
Daryl Miller, when I put out
Yeah.
if you want to add your thoughts, you said it's one of the best things he's seen this year. Everything about it feels right, measured and effortless, which means a great deal of effort and attention. I don't know what that means because it wasn't particularly it wasn't particularly special or
Well, I think there was. I agree. I've just seen. Yeah, I've just read Daryl's comment, and I would agree with him. I think there was a lot of detail in there. I think what Daryl's saying there is that it was directed within an inch of its life. There was a lot of detail paid to what each set would look like. So the orphanage was very grey. When she gets to the house with the adoptive parents, it's very much this 1950s, 1960s suburban household. I thought every set looked really good. I thought the performance from Anya Taylor-Joy and actually the young actress Isla Johnston who played the young Beth, they were really good, and you understood their feelings from how there wasn't a lot of dialogue, but you got what it was about. And I think it is about this character who has experienced loss early in her life and how she deals with it and how she loses herself in this world of chess, which is very measured. And I thought the episode with the chess tournament, it could have been very dull, but I thought they found a way to make it interesting, with all these people gathered around and building up the tension. It was a bit cliched how they built up to this is the key player, the person who's building himself up to a grandmaster. Of course she's going to beat him. I think we saw that coming, but I think they did it in a way that was well done, and I think they are building up to her having this addiction. But everything I saw I really liked. I know you've gone one more episode than me, but I was invested, and I think everything was done with a lot of detail, and I can't see the faults that you are seeing in it. I can't understand that really, if I'm honest. I think
nothing about it was particularly engaging for me. I didn't, as I would normally do, latch on to this poor girl who had lost her mother and father in this traumatic way.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. I just found her so cold, and I don't think the show did a very good job of explaining to me why she lost herself in chess.
I think then you would be complaining that it done too much to explain that to you. I think it did explain it to you, because I got it.
But there was nothing there that I was okay. I understand this. I warmed to this. It was just something I was watching for the podcast and not something I enjoyed.
That's fair. I mean, that is fair enough. But I thought this was a series that you would latch onto because it didn't go out of its way to explain things. I think you did have this sympathetic character because she was put upon. She was in a world where there wasn't a lot of freedom. It wasn't part of everything else that was very ordered. You have your meals at this time, this happens at this time, take your pills, go to sleep. The basement was somewhere different, and initially she didn't just sit down with him straight away. She goes down. She's to do the erasers several times before she actually asks him a question. It's not the first, she sees him once, and then there is that gradual build up to her asking him what he is, what he's playing, and then there's that great, it doesn't just happen like you're saying it does.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, I get that, but I just think
the third
everything you were saying, I don't think you're right, basically.
So you're gonna continue on and see where it finishes?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
See, that genuinely surprises me because I thought we'd be on the same page about it. I thought you'd find it. I thought you'd find it a bit generic as well.
I don't think I've gone into how much I think Anya Taylor-Joy is absolutely brilliant in this, and I think that consistency between the two performances that the two actresses gave, I thought was brilliant. Just the little things that she hasn't picked up because she hasn't been in this. She hasn't been raised by nurturing parents. The only figure who has paid her any attention is this Mr. Shable. As a result of that, she has acted a certain way. Everyone else, her parents were very much overly dramatic, and mom suffered from mental health, dad not wanting to know and leaving the marriage, leaving the family. Then she's in this world of the orphanage where she is ordered around. Basically, there's not a lot of love there, there's not a lot of belonging there, and then she's being adopted. These two people who basically, this couple who aren't getting on, and the dad soon leaves the house, and she's being bullied at school. The only thing that she finds solace in his chess, and that's what I picked up on, and that is what I warmed to about the character. And I think both actresses did a really good job communicating that, and I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well paced. And if you're saying that the third episode is a bit shorter and is a bit and I think that is the thing with these streaming shows, is that they can make the decision on how long they feel like each episode needs to be, and I thought they made the right decision in each case, and I was invested in the story.
The Queen's Gambit is all there on Netflix now for you to watch.
I mean, I don't get. Do you get what I'm saying though? Do you understand where I'm coming from or not?
I can't really. This is the one thing where I can't really see it.
Why can't you see it? What is it that's stopping?
I suppose the same reason that you can't see my point of view. I feel one way and you feel the other way, and I don't think Anya Taylor-Joy does give a particularly strong performance in that second episode. Really, it carries on the story.
Why didn't you? I just don't, because I thought her. Going back to Daryl's comments again, I thought her performance was incredibly measured. Because that's the character. It's not a character. It's a character who's gone through immense trauma in her life, hasn't found that love anywhere, and I thought she was actually quite dear. In the first person who paid her sort of some attention was that other chess player. The one who's flirting with her a little bit, the one she beat in the tournament. That showed another element to the character, another element to the performance. This sort of coy teenager that we possibly hadn't seen before. And there were elements where she was thawing a little bit, I think, through the tournament, when there was the other female player who showed her how to sort of do the chess clock and then helped her when she was having a period, and you saw the sort of the thawing in her relationship with the Marielle Heller character as well. And actually I thought the performances both from Marielle Heller and as Alma and Bill Camp as Mr. Shable were both very strong as well. It's an interesting one, and it's good when we disagree, because normally we just agree on everything, and it's probably quite boring for the listeners when we just agree.
And I'm sure I'm in the minority because I struggled to find anything that.
Then I think you enjoyed the third day a lot more than I did.
Yes, I did. I did definitely enjoy that.